Here's what you should be focusing on in 2026. The ability to assign detailed, useful work to large language models and agents and provide the appropriate context for them to do the job. This is the most important thing in 2026 you can focus on if you are a leader of a medtech business. Frankly, if you work in a medtech business and your people, your team around you, your executive level does not have this ability, this is the thing that you should be almost singularly focusing on in 2026. And I'm going to tell you why. Everybody's work is very unique and special to them. And it's also very messy. And that's where a lot of the actual value happens, right? It is in that non-KPI, messy middle part of work where there's a lot of inference, there's a lot of opaque if then, it depends, rules, and gray area. And a lot of people think that large language models are just repeating stuff that they've seen before or were trained on. So they're very deterministic. But in fact, it's completely the opposite. They're very good at non-deterministic work. They are at their core probabilistic models that operate off of the context that they're giving and generate probabilistic tokens for what should come next, right? A logical sequence and what should come next. And that's ultimately the work product and the output. So a lot of people have tried to put in a little project or some work or something into ChatGPT, and they kind of tried, and it was messy. Maybe you got some AI slop and they said, okay, well, I just don't need to try this anymore or whatever. That is a common occurrence, but something that shouldn't stop you, because the models and agents are getting so good if you know how to pull the strings and orchestrate intelligence effectively. And here's what I mean. The large language models are already so good. And we're kind of entering this new age of agents and skills and sub-agents. And really, when I say agent, all I mean is the agent has a large language model for a brain, Claude, ChatGPT, and then it has access to skills, which are very precise instructions to do very specific tasks or workflows. It has access to the proper context. This could be past projects you've done or historical documents or other rules and things like that. And tools. So this could be Microsoft Office type tools. This could be databases. This could be writing or creating documents or transcribing things, any tool that you can think of, right? So these agents previously were only able to run for about 5 or 10 minutes of like human equivalent work before the accuracy threshold dropped below 50%, 80%, et cetera. They are now, and this has happened over the past really 3 months, 4 months or so, able to do 4 and 5 hours of human equivalent work in a fraction of the time. I mean, we're talking 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, right? So when you have these agents that have the ability to do 5 hours of work now, by Q2, Q3, it will certainly be 10 hours, 15 hours, a human equivalent of work. The true leverage that you're going to be able to get is from your intelligent people at your organization being able to orchestrate intelligence, being able to assign detailed and useful work to these LLMs and to these agents and say, go do this. Here's the context. You have the tools that you need. You have the instructions and the skills and the sub-agents. I'm going to assign you this really highly useful work, and it's going to be 10 to 12 hours of human equivalent work. And you're going to do it in 25 minutes and come back to me. And it's going to be very, very, very good. And I can spend however much time, an hour, 2 hours, whatever, refining it and getting it to that final end work product that I want. That is where the leverage happens. You should be selecting for the skill if you're hiring. You should be intentionally focusing your efforts internally with your team on how do I get them the ability to assign this type of useful work and provide the proper context and orchestrate this intelligence in this way with large language models and agents. When I say ability, there's a couple things kind of packed into that. It's not spending, $5,000 per employee on every tool and every large language model under the sun. But you need to give them access and permissions to the right tools so they can do these things, so they can move quickly with the classic friction barriers removed. And that could be an outsourced IT group that you just have a hard conversation with about, we're going to be an AI first company, and this is going to be a core competency, so we need barriers removed. It could be doing stuff internally. Maybe you have an internal IT team or whatever. So there's kind of the infrastructural ability piece, but then there's also the kind of knowledge and AI literacy piece. And this is maybe the harder nut to crack, but it's something you have to be doing, to the point that I think it's warranted to say, whether it's 2 hours or 3 hours or 4 hours of every single week, you expect them to be digesting and comprehending and applying AI training and education, continuing education, but it's just focused on AI tools, software literacy, AI literacy, because the time that you will lose in that education and training on this in a 1 or 2 month time span, you will start to see the gains far outweigh and compound on those couple of hours a week, right, that they were spending on this stuff. And it's not just like learning how to use a wrench. It's kind of constantly evolving. This isn't a one and done type thing. So I do think it needs to be an effort that evolves over time as these different systems and model evolve. So that's the other big piece of it. But I think a third piece is also building tools, working with people to help build tools that maybe are just for your team internally, that look and feel to the user like a classic piece of software that they use every day. But under the hood of all that are agentic systems, skills, tool access, large language model, decision trees, like you name it, that allow them to have a fully agentic and intelligent orchestrating experience. So instead of them operating in something that looks like this, they can be operating in something that looks like this, that they're very familiar with. There's not a million degrees of freedom. There's enough degrees of freedom that it makes sense for them. So if you are interested in figuring out how your organization can get this ability, if you want to talk about what types of custom tools can be built or brainstorm on how a specific custom internal tool could be useful for your organization, this is what we do at Exo Medtech and Medtech vendors. We help sales and marketing teams at CDMOs and contract manufacturers scale revenue, create efficiencies, and cut costs. So if you want to talk about that, DM me and let's have a conversation. Thanks.